So the Mailbag Monday has come and gone. And if you want to check out that video where I answer the 6 questions, go ahead and click the link right up here. But there were 3 more questions that I thought were really good. And I figured, let's just turn them into one-off videos. And this one comes from Dave out in Waco. So I have to imagine he's a Baylor fan. But he asked, Cole, do you believe in the new 12-team playoff format? A Big 12 program can go through the gauntlet and actually win a national title. Dave, I got some bad news for you. I'm not entirely sure, but I got some good news for you. There's nothing more I want to see than a Big 12 team actually win a national championship. So let's go ahead and discuss. But if you're new to the channel, welcome on in. My name is Cole Thompson. I talk college football daily. So if this is the type of content you enjoy, make sure that you hit the subscribe button and the ring notification. That way you don't miss a single episode of just saying it. Make sure that you also tell your friends, family, mortal enemies, best of bros, college football fans, and of course, Big 12 faithful everywhere about this channel, because we're not just on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking about our favorite sport, but I want to be the #1 college football community right here on YouTube. Make sure that you also are following me on all the social media platforms, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Mr. Cole Thompson, link right down there below. And if you want to be a part of the Mailbag Monday or be a part of a one-off video, email me, colethompsonwriting@gmail.com. There'll be a link in the description down below, or follow me on all the social media platforms. Go inside of my DMs on Twitter. We always can have conversations about college football well past the likes of YouTube. The Big 12 is the best conference in the sport. No, on paper, I get it. It's not. Yes, I know when you look at the names that come out and go to the NFL, it's not. But just simply based off what college football is at its core, the ambiance, the pageantry, the matchups, the highlights, the any given Saturday feel. Yes, the Big 12 is the best conference of college football, and it's only getting better with the additions of teams like Houston, like UCF, like Arizona State. I love the fact that they're actually targeting those programs that are kind of without homes, that are looking for their next destination. And I do think that when you look at what football is at its core, that's where you want to reside, the Big 12. I love seeing matchups between teams like Utah and Oklahoma State, which honestly I think is going to be a very underrated rivalry moving forward. Kyle Whittingham versus Mike Gundy, 2 of the more underappreciated coaches of the 2010s, but still found a way to live up to expectations. They get to go toe-to-toe at Rice Eccles and Boones-Pickens Stadium. Come on. How are you not getting excited for that? Deion Sanders is in the conference. Yes, he's changing college football for the short amount of period that he will be in Boulder. Maybe it's for the long haul. We don't even know. Cincinnati, they just made a college football playoff as a group of 5 team a few years ago. And in large part, you got to thank, if you are a group of 5 program, Cincinnati, of being that sacrificial lamb, because without them, I'm not sure that we even have these conversations of having representation in the CFP for one of those programs, like a Memphis, like a Tulane, like a UTSA, a Troy, maybe even a Texas State for that matter. There's reasons to love the Big 12, and it's honestly everything that you want in college football. Coaches stick around for the long haul. They go and they recruit a proper way. Yes, NIL is going to be a big deal, and certainly it'll come down to the wire for certain players, but you're literally not just going out of your way and saying, here, we'll pay you $9 million to come play for our school. No, we'll pay you $13 million. I'm a Nigerian prince. Go ahead and sign on the dotted line, and I'll pay you $15 million, like you see in the SEC. Like you see in the Big 10. You don't see that in the Big 12. And that's what makes it such a great conference. And the part that really irks me more than anything else is that you see overall solid rosters every single year going battle to battle, down to the wire, making sure that every single snap counts. And the reward is, oh yeah, we're going to see 2 teams play in Arlington, and maybe, just maybe, we'll throw a 3rd team into the conversation to sneaking on into the playoff. And that's, by the way, if the ACC has a down year and the programs like NC State and North Carolina and Miami, and it's only Florida State that really takes control. And it's also if the SEC has a down year where it's Alabama, it's Georgia, and like everybody else is 8-4, 7-5, and the Big 10, they don't have any offensive identity, and it's still the same usual suspects. And no, we've never seen the same 4 teams go to the college football playoff the same year, but we have seen the same usual suspects be ranked inside the top 5, inside the top 10, the 2 on the outside looking in, and the Big 12 is sitting here like, hey, we want a piece of the puzzle too. We just were in the playoff a few years ago. Does anybody remember Oklahoma? Anybody remember TCU and their epic run? We beat Michigan in the Fiesta Bowl. Max Duggan, Quentin Johnston. You had the little engine that could horn frogs. The Hypno Toad was hopping everywhere. You want to have that feel. The problem is with the 12-team playoff, you're really putting yourselves against the wall because you don't know what the future entails. And then at that point, also, it's going to be really challenging to say you're going to be able to go win 3 games against quality opponents where money does talk, where the boosters are willing to put their money where their mouth is, where they're willing to open checks that places like Manhattan, places like Stillwater, places like Morgantown can't cash. And that's a problem. It is. It really is. I would love to see nothing more, though, than for a Kansas Jayhawk team led by Lance Leipold, a legit program builder that can win at every single level and prove that when he leaves a team, it's in better hands than when he found it. Go on a run throughout the postseason and make his way to the college football playoff. I would love nothing more than to see potentially a Kansas State led by Chris Kleinman, one of the more underappreciated coaches in college football, be able to put up not only top 20 numbers that are respected for Big 12 status, but respected at the national level. I would love to see guys like DJ Giddings and RJ Harvey and even a guy like Ollie Gordon get their love as running backs alongside the names that we see in the Big 10 and the SEC and even the ACC for that matter. It's just really challenging. I don't know what the future entails for a program like the Big 12. And I don't know what the future entails for a lot of teams in the Big 12. What I can tell you is that it's not changing anytime soon, in my opinion. There's still going to be my favorite conference to watch on weekends. There's still going to be the most complete overall pageantry in college football. There's still going to be the conference to where I know the sport that I love, the one that I fell in love with at 7 years old, watching football games on the weekends with a Twizzler straw and orange Gatorade with my grandfather. That still exists. It's just in the Big 12. And maybe they won't get the same representation as the SEC or as the Big 10 or even as the ACC because they have names like Miami involved. But they are going to be the conference that I think a lot of people call theirs, their safe haven, the purists that actually enjoy the sport nonstop, whether it be in Ames, Iowa, Morgantown, West Virginia, Fort Worth, Texas, Stillwater, Oklahoma. I'll throw in Tucson, Arizona. Go ahead and talk to Wildcat fans. They're really good people, number one, but also they care about the craft. And it's a big reason why I think so many people are buying into this Wildcat team this year, especially with Brett Brennan at the helm, with Noah Fafita and T-Mac back. They understand that college football is more than just about the nickels and dimes. This is actually about setting a tone and a standard moving forward. And so I would love to see the Big 12 win a college football playoff. I would love to see 2 or 3 teams every single year, whether it be Oklahoma State, TCU, and Utah, or Iowa State, or West Virginia, and maybe you'll throw in like an Arizona every few years, Colorado even. If Deion actually can get the job done, I would love to see it. I just don't know if that happens because if we do have to realize what the SEC is, we do have to realize that because they and the Big 10 hold a lot of the cards, especially when it comes to setting the standard in the sport and really also pigeonholing where the future entails, if they're going to be a part of it or if they're going to create their own college football playoff, they want representation. It's not fair. It's the reality. But I'm never going to say never in the world of college football. I didn't think that TCU was going to go on their epic run and win a lot of one-possession games against ranked opponents. And I don't think that a lot of people understand that going into this year, the most balanced conference and the one that I think a lot of people will be keeping a big eyeball on is the Big 12. There's a lot of good teams. Maybe not a lot of elite teams, but good versus elite. I'll take 8 or 9 good teams over one elite team that beats the living dog crap out of SEC, Big 10, or ACC opponents every single week. But let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think that a Big 12 program in the not-so-distant future can win a college football playoff? Who is that team? Do you believe that the Big 12 is, as Josh Pate says, as I say, it is the conference made for college football purists? Because we do agree this is, without question, the one that stands tall. Make sure that you're following me on all the social media platforms at Mr. Cole Thompson. I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Make sure that you also tell your friends, family, mortal enemies, best of bros, college football fanatics everywhere, and Big 12 faithful about this channel, because we're not on the race to become the #1 YouTube show talking about our favorite sport. We're on the race to become the #1 college football community right here on YouTube. I am Cole Thompson. Until next time, folks, have a happy hump day. Later. Hey, you made it to the end of the video. That's awesome. Thank you so much. But before you leave, make sure that you hit subscribe. And if you want to check out any of our other great work, make sure you click on one of the videos here. Am I pointing at the right spot? I'm not entirely sure. I'm really not.